Welcome to Beyond the Bottom Line. I am Rebekah Olson, your host and MACPA CEO, and I am delighted to welcome our guest this morning, and someone that I think has more energy and passion for this profession than almost anybody else I've ever met. And I haven't met him in person, so you know that energy that I'm getting through the screen must be pretty darn powerful. So I want to welcome Dr. Tim Naddy. Tim, welcome to the show.
Thank
So
you.
grateful to have you here.
Well,
Now,
I'm
Tim, if you
go,
notice,
please. No, I don't want to take you off the train. I've
no,
learned
no,
one
no,
thing.
I,
It's like, where do you get hit
yeah,
by a train? On the tracks. And if you're the train coming through, I'm gonna step off the tracks. You keep going, Rebecca.
okay, I'm here. I'm going. I'm powering through, right? So it is still, it's a Monday morning here, so I'm gonna give myself a little more grace
It's a
than
Monday morning
usual.
here too.
Really?
It
That's
is. Yeah,
fascinating. Yeah.
Savannah. Even though we live in the banana land world, we do ascribe to that 7 day work
Eastern time
week.
zone.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice, nice. That's good. Well, you mentioned you just heard Dr. Tim mention Savannah and Banana Land, and so I have to introduce that he is not just a passionate CPA and an adjunct professor, giving back. To the profession, helping to bring up the next generation at the Savannah College of Art and Design, but he's also the VP of Finance of the Savannah Bananas.
Go
And
bananas.
so, wow, Tim, off the bat, we like to start with good news as part of MACPA, all of our meetings. And I mean, everything I just said is great news. It's a Monday morning and I'm getting to talk to you. And you're just killing it out there in the profession, doing so much to elevate the voice of the CPA. And but I guess either personally or professionally, because sometimes the profession or the personal one is more entertaining or fun to know than the professional good news. But what would you say is your good news this Monday morning, Tim?
It's month end. I mean, who
Yeah.
doesn't get excited for month end? I was telling the finance group today. It's like, hey guys, just to let you know, it's month end. They're like, mwah, mwah. It's like peanuts, like that dirty kid that always has that cloud around him. And you're like,
Yes.
would someone just shower that kid? Yeah, that's so no, we'll nail down the books. It'd be great. No, I think some of the great things that are happening specifically inside the Savannah Banana world is that now we have 2 extra teams, and with 6 teams, we now have the Local Beach Coconuts, which are my favorite because I actually grew up in Cocoa Beach. Now you're
Okay.
wondering,
Wow.
where's Local Beach? Well, it
Yeah.
can be anywhere. It can be anywhere you're having a beer. It can be anywhere you're
Oh.
surfing the tube. It can be anywhere
Oh.
where you got the beach bunnies, right? So it's
Yeah.
no, we got the Local Beach Coconuts, which are awesome, and then we also have the Indianapolis Clowns paying homage to one of the original baseball teams who was out there having fun with baseball. So very very exciting on that tip, and so what we have coming up is we have our player draft. And so there are some fans out there like, oh, what are they going to do? They're going to wreck the teams and the players that we love. It's like, no, 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 that's not what we're doing. We are shifting around the players who we know who can seed these new teams so that
Mm,
there's mature athletes who have been here, done that, teach people how to play banana ball.
absolutely.
And so as you grow up, sure, does it take some of the talent away from, say, the party animals who just won the championship, right?
Right.
Are we siphoning off some of that talent? Of course we are, but there's talent on all the teams, and
Absolutely.
and so what you want to do is you want to make if you're going to launch out with the league, which we are doing this year, 16 Banana Ball Championship League. We want to make sure that hey, everybody has the chance for success.
Absolutely.
So that's what with this player draft. It's brand spanking new, and there's already fan votes to who's going to be franchised and
I
who's going to be on these
know.
teams already, and then what are the other one? It's all over the place. So yeah, there's
So
a
much fun.
lot going on in Banana Land.
It's so much fun.
Mhm.
Like, the Savannah Bananas have a unique, I guess, some special sauce going on that just brings fun into everything, right? Like,
Yeah.
what is your favorite part about working there?
Working here, is that I've looks feels like a podcast studio. Like, you can
Yeah.
see my peruke. We talked about the peruke earlier, right? So it's like,
Yeah.
put it on.
I did see
Um,
that. I was like, "Hmm,
so,
costume
yeah,
day?"
I didn't realize how broad this thing was gonna be. It's like, what's my trim look like? But
Yeah.
no, I'm very excited about, one of my favorite things about working here is one, the people here are amazing,
Mm.
and it's about it's any place you go, you're going to have the typical ups and downs of a business, just like anywhere you go, right? What in our finance department though, specifically, what I get super excited about is that all the people that are around me are really, really, really good at what they do,
Mm.
and I think we just have a chemistry that works. So much so that I think there's other departments that kind of look at, man, maybe I should have joined finance. It's like, yeah,
Ooh, you're making finance look
uh-huh.
sexy.
Well,
Yeah.
we do spell it with a PH, just so people know
Oh, well,
we're fun, right?
oh, yeah, I
But I
like
think
that.
that, one of the things that gets me up to go to work every day
Yeah.
is that I get to work with people who I really do enjoy working with,
Mm.
and not only that, but, I'm constantly learning.
Mm.
It's one of the things where my wife for a while there, she thought it was like, "Did I marry the wrong person? This is crazy. Like, this guy just he can't settle down." Um, but it's not that. It's that, every 2.5 to 3 years, I kinda get in my head, it's like, "Okay, have I learned everything that I need here? And
Mm.
if I have, is there anything else for me to learn there? Is there anybody else that, like, again, it's not all about me, it's maybe there's people around me that need to learn from me, but my thing is that I really do enjoy learning more,
Mhm.
and that doesn't mean I always have to work for somebody who's older than me, or more experienced than me, because I just try to kind of soak it up, right? Now, I
Yeah.
may miss a couple opportunities to learn things I should be learning, and my staff is very, very good at telling me, the ways that
Mm.
I am falling short of that mark. Then it's totally okay. Um,
Yeah.
but I think that, with this job in particular, when I first came in, I mentioned to the president when we was interviewing for us, like, "Look, are we just gonna be a baseball team? Like, what's the
Mm.
plan
What's
here?" And
going
he's like,
on?
"Well,
Yeah.
yeah," and because I know a bunch of people that are in the finance components for minor league baseball teams and some major league baseball teams, and they specifically on the minor league side, they're just not very happy. They were trying to
Mm.
dissuade me, like, you really shouldn't take this job.
Mm.
It's gonna be a fad. It's like they're stuck in this coastal plain leagues. It's like, I don't think you should take this job." And I was like,
Mm.
not the conversations that I've had with the ownership. I'm like, I don't think you guys know what the plans are. And
Yeah.
now, so that was in what, late 2022. So
Wow.
now we're at the 2025. We're 3 years into this plan that was laid out in front of me when I started, and now we are in fact starting a league.
Mm.
And so you start looking at it and goes, well, do I know how to run a baseball team? Yeah, pretty easy. Do I know how to run merchandise? Mhm, mhm. Know how to sell tickets? Mhm. Yep, got that. I understand all those pieces. But now take that and spread it across 6 teams into a league format, and now all the tax benefits of being a league, all of the things that you have with all these different players, the coaches, or are we not gonna be regionally dispersed? What do we do with all the merchandise? Is it gonna stay in one warehouse? Is it gonna be dispersed, to regional warehouses? These are all decisions that need to be made, and I get to be a part of those decisions.
Right.
So that's where I think the learning keeps happening, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
If there was one if it came down to where I felt like the brakes, I tapped the brakes and was like, "Okay, there's nothing else here to learn," it would not be something where I would just I think it would slowly deflate,
Mhm.
because I need that constant intellectual, activity, to try and solve problem strategy, things like that. Um,
Right.
so that's what I get to do, and
Well,
it's awesome. I really enjoy it.
that is awesome because 'cause you've gotten to be part of creating something, right?
Yeah.
And your expertise, you close the books, mention about, like, it's that time of month, so you gotta do that part, but, like, that you get to use your expertise and your area of knowledge, and then continuously learn and grow and impact this bigger organization, the strategy going forward in such a fun environment too. Like, what really could be better, right? Like,
Yeah, so you and I have spoken about this in the past, probably ad nauseum, is and it'll be a theme that you and I keep bringing
mhm,
up, is that what's your why? Right?
mm,
What makes you what was the passion that you had when you first got into this career? And do we still have that passion? Because if we don't, maybe this career is not for us anymore. And it's okay to branch out and do something else, but just understand that, if it's just a matter of you just kind of lost what your passion was, or your original why you got into this,
mhm,
then that's where I think the MACPA and all of the other state societies could come around and say, "Hey, you're not the only one feeling like this. Like, we
right.
we we get burnt out too, just like anybody else." Um,
Yep.
but also one of the biggest things that we need to stay cognizant of is in this position, this specifically this position, I don't care if you're the CFO to the general accountant, line level accountant. When you are in finance, when you are in accounting, right? And some people like to smash those two together. Um, you people are constantly watching the finance department, and
Mm,
whether you like it or not, you are influencing anybody who's in around you in the organization,
right.
because they see you as kind of like the oracle. You are the source of
Mm.
truth, and so which also makes it very difficult because you can't. There's certain things you can't say because like, oh my gosh, I just heard that from finance, and all of a sudden it's there it goes. It's like
Oh,
no, no, no,
yeah,
that's not what we meant. Um,
yeah,
but one of the things that I think is really important is that because we're in such a high profile position, and it's kind of funny. People are like finance is high profile. No, for real, it is.
mm,
Even though we're considered overhead on all the on the books, and we do a lot of our work in the shadows. Like I keep going back to the
right,
shadow ops thing.
mhm,
What really it is that people really do have of a respect for the finance function, and so when we are there and present and consistent and constantly pouring ourselves into the organization, we truly do become the heartbeat of the organization. Like that, there nothing else can survive in the company without the accounting and finance function. I mean, if
right,
so, if you want a shout out to why you should be passionate about what you do, is that
right,
without us accountants, there is no economic engine. Right.
right.
So yeah, I mean, you could be, there's like this thing right now on LinkedIn is like accounting versus finance.
Mhm,
Accounting is looking back, finance is looking forward. It's like, will you
yeah,
stop with this sharks, fish, and jet stuff? It's like that, like, it's like, I don't want to have a fight in the street. I just want you
right.
guys to know that there are accountants that look forward too. There are also
Oh,
finance people that look backward. Go figure, right? And then there's
we're
FP&A people that are just like, they don't really know where they fit. But, um, all this
yeah,
saying is that people are looking at us and they're and
right,
they're they're judging the health of the organization by the way we carry ourselves. And so what that means is that as we are working through, whether you're at a firm and you actually are part of the revenue chain, or you're at a private company and you are overhead, it doesn't matter. Everybody's looking at this finance organization saying,
right.
if they feel good, if they feel healthy, if they
Mm,
are smiling, then I think we can kind of relax a little bit. And so
yeah,
we have to be cognizant of that, as we move through the organizations because people are constantly trying to take cues from you, and so that means that I need to be very measured in the way I communicate that, even in my body language.
right, right.
And because sometimes your body language can kind of betray what you're saying, right? So all that's being said, when we are this type of vital function in the organization, and people are watching us, whether you like it or not, they're watching you. Then you need to take it seriously. You need to
Mm,
take it. You need to take it to that next step of okay. Does that mean I can let my hair down and have fun? 100%. Have some fun. But
yes.
when it comes down to business, when people really want to know, we have to hit it, and we
Mm,
have to hit it 100% of the time. And
that's
sometimes people, that's what kind of gets them. It's like,
yeah,
oh, I missed it. Okay, you know what? Everybody makes mistakes. Rinse, repeat, do it again, right? So
right.
that's
That's
what I think.
awesome. I love that, and that I mean, I've been in this profession a while, and I think that might be the first time that I heard somebody talk about, um, how people look at us. I don't know that as CPAs, accounting and finance professionals, we always own the value that we really bring, right? Or the influence that we can and do have, whether
Mhm.
we're aware of it or not, right? People are watching us, people are taking signals from us, and that's a big responsibility. Like, people need to be aware of that. I love that.
Yeah,
It's
we're gonna work on that,
so
and then in 26, you and I are gonna work on something there
Mhm.
because 1, we work really well together, and 2, you're really good on podcasts. So, the the whole thing,
Yeah.
the mantra I wanna go to for 2026 is that we are not the echo, we're the voice.
Mm,
And so kind of like the whole shadow ops thing, where we're constantly working behind the scenes to make sure this is working, this is working. It's like, oh, what's a business license? Like, don't worry, finance has got it. We'll take care of it. It's like the reason why you're still in business is because we still work here, right? Um, but it's always been one of those things where, and I've got some really good ideas on this one, so you're gonna help me with this.
I'm
Um,
so excited.
is go around and try to find, like, can you rip off, the names of any, like, marquee, companies that you know? You know the Jeff Bezos, you know the Walt Disney, Was it, Eisen nope, oh, what's the gentleman's name? I just forgot the CEO's name, but, Bob.
I wish he
Bob
would get his
something.
YouTube thing
All
figured.
right. But the point is that you know the CEOs' names.
Mm,
Why don't you know the CFOs' names?
mm.
And
Yeah.
is it because they're less valuable? No.
No.
They're actually even more valuable
Valuable. Yeah.
because without them, you can say you could do a whole bunch of strategy if you want to, but without that individual who's leading your finance department, that individual is going to help you get to where that strategy is going. Whether that's working with the bankers, working with investors, working with shareholders, what have you, right? The point is that your key player there, and
Absolutely.
so why don't we know their names?
Mm.
We
Why don't we
should
celebrate them in the
know
same
their
way? Yeah.
names, right?
Yeah.
So that's, kind of where I'm going in 2026 is that, it's just we're gonna make it positive. It's like, "Hey, we're stepping out of the shadows here."
Yeah.
And I think it's time for accountants to kinda just go, "Rah," just rip it open. Hey, I'm an
Yes.
accountant, right?
I love
And
it.
wear it. Stop hiding.
We're
Stop looking at
proud.
people's shoes. Look me in the eyes.
Yeah. So you mentioned, this is what you're gonna do in 2026. You want to do this. So your role in this profession, your influence goes way beyond, and your passion goes way beyond the individual organization that you're working with now, right?
100%.
Like, and
Yes.
so that you have a in 2026, I want to do this. So tell me a little bit more about where that passion comes from and what you're doing in that space to elevate the accounting and finance profession and like where's that energy come from?
Okay, so
Like,
that's such a
yeah.
loaded question,
Oh, I know.
and the fact that you know me is just great. Um Way back when I first started into, accounting, there was that first year shock moment of not being, having jumped out at the time, everybody was coming out with their master's degrees and their CPA licenses, like, in tow, like, everybody was starting with those, and so, and it was just a churn, man. If you couldn't make it in public accounting, I was like, "Eh, okay, we'll just replace you with somebody behind you."
Mm,
It was truly numbers, right? Um,
yeah.
but one of the things that really frustrated me on that, and believe me, I'll land the plane here. One of the things that really frustrated me on this is that I saw really good, people around me who were incredibly smart individuals, men and women, who had entered the public accounting arena and then slowly had just been deflated to
Mm,
where I don't even know if I'm supposed to be. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why I'm here. Did I make a mistake? Did I pick a bad career choice? Like all of this
right.
really almost to the tune of, and I never wanna equate, accounting with war efforts, right? Men and women of the US military have been through some pretty serious stuff.
Yeah.
But the what I'm thinking about is, like, the PTSD side of it,
Mm,
of they I can ask you can put anybody in a room, you could do this today, go around and say, "Hey, accountants, when was the day and the time that you realized that you weren't good for you made a mistake?"
mm,
And then, I mean, everybody has that kind
mhm,
of, realization, like, "Oh my gosh, I don't think this is for me." And
right.
it's like, "Wait a second, hold on a second." And that's when hopefully there's a mentor or someone there that
Mm,
could be like,
mhm,
"Okay, let me come on, come this way a little bit. I'm gonna give you a little bit more information here, a little more information here." And you start things start opening up your eyes, and all of a sudden, just one day, it just works and
mm,
everything makes sense.
yeah.
That eureka moment is what I live for. I absolutely
Mm,
love that, and that's why, whether I'm in the professional setting, in a private company, or if I'm hanging out with players across the street and trying to help them with their own individual businesses, or maybe some social media stuff that they're doing, or maybe being in the classroom at Savannah College of Art and Design and helping creatives, people that are making content, fashion, graphic arts, industrial design, things like that, and trying to help them. Hey, you have this intellectual property in your head. How do you protect that if you
mm,
want to, like, basically on this side of heaven, you're gonna work for somebody or you're gonna work for yourself.
mm,
So,
sure.
depending on which side you wanna go, if you do work for yourself, let me show you how you could do it. Um, so that, or it's okay to go work for somebody, get the 2, 3, 4, 5 years of experience that you need, and then go work for yourself, right? You don't always have to work and try to climb that ladder. Make your own ladder. So, I think that where my passion really comes from is, helping just really having been in that position where I had like, which way is up, I
Great.
wanted to try to remove those stumbling blocks and try to fix that path,
Mhm,
through whether it be curriculum, through public speaking, through just being available, um, and, I think that's where I'm eventually moving
mm,
to, is more of that resource to try to help people learn from what I've already learned. Now, of course, there's going to be kids out there that they're gonna learn the hard way just because they're like, that guy doesn't know what he's talking
Yeah.
about. I was like, oh, if I don't know what I'm talking about, then ask any of the 40 billion people that have the same experience, and just trust us that
Mm,
you're gonna struggle with these things. So
yeah.
let us help you kind of walk through this thing. So
I love
that's
that.
where my passion is.
Yeah, no, and we share a similar passion because as soon as you asked that question, I could picture the client parking lot that I stood in and cried, and my manager talking to me on the phone, and, she used a baseball reference of, "There's no crying in auditing, Becca. There's no crying. This isn't life or death,
I
right?"
think I might have
And
cried in auditing.
yeah. And how and then finding my place, finding how I can give back, how I can be passionate to help other people find their place, and I think the best part of this profession is its influence, is its people for sure, but it's also the opportunities, the endless opportunities that it can provide, so if I shift gears a little bit and I talk about just some of the fun things that the Savannah Bananas do, and just your fun character that you just ooze excitement and passion and fun. How do we? And you talked about it a little bit with that why and that reconnecting. How do we bring that more, because I don't wanna say it's not there, I think maybe it's just hidden, right? How do we bring
Mhm.
that more out of the leaders in our profession? Because I think sometimes we have the younger people have it,
Mhm.
and then, that moment happens. How do we bring that out more? How can we more intentionally do that?
So I'm going to say some things, and I think that a lot of people are going to look at this and say, "Well, not in my environment. Like that's not how my owners. That's not how my C-suite acts, right?"
Mhm.
And there's a certain level. I like to say that it's professionally casual, so that I don't demand that people wear business suits when they come to the office. I'm not into that kind of stuff. But again, looking at finance from the perspective of people are always watching us, then you want to have that extra level where
Mm,
people look and they go, "Oh, that person looks like they're more put together. They must be
right.
in finance, right?" I mean, it's typical. And so it's one of those things where I think that depending on the environment that you have, and depending on the kind of, leadership structure you have, because a lot of us are under very different leaders, and usually that tone is set at the top, but that doesn't mean you have to echo that tone. You don't have to be that person that takes it in just a megaphone down, right?
Mhm.
You can actually make your own and actually have it decide that you're going to be different. Um, what I think is interesting is that when you see a finance individual who actually has a personality, who actually cares about people, and that's not always into the numbers all day long, um, you get this response of, "Yeah, I didn't realize that was a finance person," because we have the
Mm,
stereotype where we're just supposed to be like, you know, I think of
right.
like the Harry Potter, when you go to the bank, or they go to the bank in the archives, and got those trolls there, and that's like all
Yeah,
they do is just look at the books and stuff.
yeah.
Um, but
We don't
the
wanna be
Right. What's that? You know?
I it doesn't fit me very well.
Um, but I think that when it all comes down to, look, we have different personalities. If you're not the same person you are when you're in the building versus when you're outside the building, I think that says a lot about you're letting your environment control you more so
Mhm.
than you are being released upon your environment.
Right.
When you get hired, certainly they're looking at resumes, they're looking at potential, but there's nothing
Right.
to say that you have to be like in a box. In fact, I can't stand the fact that accounting does this to a lot of people, or I should say businesses do this to people, is that they'll take this square peg and they'll just jam it, jam it, jam it, jam it, jam it into that round hole and just shave off all those corners that made us unique.
Right.
And so we just look like everybody else at the end of the day. That's not fun. I wanna have, really lively discussion. The fact that somebody in my, department really enjoys Sabrina Carpenter, I now listen to Sabrina Carpenter. What?
There you go.
Espresso, right? And I'm watching Gossip Girl because, like, why would I watch a Gossip Girl? Because I wanna have something in common, right? Like,
Okay.
I used to hate those bells that you ring for Mississippi State, and
Yeah.
now we have a bell in the office, and so,
How about yeah,
now do I like it? No, but I can ring it, right? The point is that bring your personalities, bring it to the table, and let's
absolutely.
just, like, kind of be who we are, but also crush work. there's nothing to be said that the finance function and the accounting function has to be boring.
Mm-mm.
It's what we think we're supposed to be
Right.
because, "Oh, they're looking at me. Oh, they're looking at me," right? Just be yourself, have a good time, and then what you're gonna find is that people are gonna want to start hanging around with the finance
With the
people,
finance people.
because not only are we pretty darn cool, but we're also really smart.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Yeah. I love that. What would you say so that what you just said, I think, is important for every individual to hear. How would you rephrase that, or what would you say differently to the people leader at the top so that they recognize and create the space or the permission that their individuals don't feel like they have to bring that into the office? Because sometimes I think about it like I would never tell my team, you know what, you don't use your left hand today. It doesn't really fit our
It's awesome.
aesthetic right now. Like that really you're going to have to just type with one hand. Like we are at, by asking people and maybe not forcefully asking but creating a culture or an environment that kind of assumes that w- how are we not having our people bring their full selves, right? So
Well,
talk about what would we do what would you say to a leader in terms of making that change?
so I think this, goes back to, if I could put it into a kind of a metaphor that I think we'll
Yep.
all understand. Uh, there are certain jobs that there's different ways to accomplish this job, and, at the end of the day, we want results, right? Um,
Right.
there are certain people who like to micromanage those results, and it's like, I want you to do it this way, this way, this way, this way, this way. That way, there's no trust. There's no way that you can actually break out and do what you think is necessary. Also, you can't really screw up, right? So it's kind of safe. But then again, it's like, well, gosh, you're just telling me everything I need to do anyway. So I'll just, yeah, if you want to check that box, I'll check that
It's
box. I'll check that
exhausting
box.
too.
Yeah,
Like,
it's absolutely exhausting. It's the
oh
worst.
my gosh, you're doing 2 people's
It is
jobs.
literally the worst environment.
Yeah.
But there's also there's other leaders that allow you to just kind of, hey, look, I need this done in 3 days. Um, I trust you. You know how to get this done. If you need to ask for clarification, come talk to me. But I don't need to, watch over you. The point is results. It's not the path through that we travel to get there. So if you're concentrated, if you're worried about the means to getting to the end, then I think that's where, we get stifled, because we can attack these problems, um, with a completely different set of rules. But as long as at the end of the day we get results, then I mean, I'm personally happy. I know anybody in the auditing world is very similar.
Mm.
That look, we just have so many things we need to get done. As long as we get it done, certainly don't want you ghost ticking and doing all these other things, right? But certainly, when you start walking through this stuff, I don't care how you get it done, just get it done.
Right.
And so, I think that's very empowering,
Mm.
from the very get-go. This is where a lot of people kinda get, a little weird because they're like, "Wait, I don't really know I don't know how to do this yet." So, "Okay, you know what? I'm gonna walk you through this first one, and then the second one, I'm just gonna kinda, observe, and then the third one, you should be able to do by yourself, and then you're off to the races. Go."
Mm.
Right? So we still have to, have to be cognizant as leaders, we have to be cognizant of knowing the various stages that the people around us are in. But for the most part, I think the best way to bring that personality, if I was talking to someone at the tone at the top, is that, you're bringing people in when you're interviewing these people, you're interviewing them for a technical position. That does not mean you're bringing them in to be just this faceless Borg that's just gonna crank work because humans don't work like that. If you want
No.
that, there's ChatGPT, there's all these other
Yeah,
places out
there's
here, right?
AI. Go invest in
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
but, that I think that when you're talking to someone at the toe of the top, it really depends on who they are, which kinda
Mm.
stinks, but you know what? You as accountants, you have options, and
Right.
if you don't like the boss, go across the street, they'll give you some more money, and, it'll be in a better environment.
Yeah.
So
Well, it's interesting too because we talk about tone at the top, and there's certainly environments, and that's certainly an aspect of all of these things. But there's a lot of like the tone at the top and what's the values on the website and maybe in a nice mural on the wall. And then there's like the culture that actually happens, and
yes.
who gets to decide that is the individuals at the lower level. Like that's the real culture that's
Yes.
happening. So we can play a role in influencing the tone at the top,
Yeah,
right?
that's a really good thought because when you set the tone at the top, it's supposed to flow down, but really what's happening is the culture is actually bubbling up
Absolutely.
because the new people coming in, I mean, this generation is nuts. They've got opinions. They know what they want to do. They all want to be managers. It's like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Um,
Yeah.
but they know what they want, and
Yeah.
they have a game plan on how to get there. So part of it is not it's not putting reins on them. It's like whoa, 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 whoa. It's more of like, okay, if you're shooting down this trajectory, let me put some guide rails on so you don't
Mm,
fall off, right?
right.
But you're right. The very interesting you say that. So, we talk about it here at the Bananas is that there's a certain culture in the front office, and there's another culture out at the warehouse. Is because the warehouse isn't physically connected to our
Right.
headquarters, and so what goes on out in the warehouse, it might just be a little bit of a different level of fans first than it is at the front office was fans first, which is at the stadium when it's just right across the street, a little bit different,
Right.
right? Because those are the people that you're around all day long. Those are the
Mhm.
people that are not only are they imparting their wisdom and everything into you, but you're also being influenced. You're influencing them. It's back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So that can happen in departments too,
Right.
where someone says, "Yeah, this is what we're going to be. These are our 3 words, and integrity is always one of them." Right?
Yeah.
And then and so this is who we're going to be. And then but you look down around, it's like, well, that one doesn't really fit the mold, but it looks like
Mm.
it's working, right? It's working.
Ye
So you can kind of see around your organization all the different
yeah.
tiny subcultures that are happening, and then now it's okay. Now can I get them back into one of these 3 alignments so that we're all at least moving the company forward in the same
Right.
direction?
It's the vision and the values, right?
Hmm.
Those are the things that everybody needs to be on the same page for. The
Agreed.
other things can vary, right? Like
I agree.
towards what the end result of the work that you're doing is. Okay, so I'm gonna ask the question because you said we have this finance and accounting battle going on out there, maybe, and some of us look at it as one big happy family. Some people look at it as the two the crazy cousin that we try to ignore. There's a lot of dynamics going on, but you said finance a lot, but you have your CPA, so I'm wondering, as someone who works in finance, what did the CPA or does the CPA do for you? And what would you say to students looking at all the options? Because there's a ton of great options, honestly. And I come from the lens of they're all great options.
Yeah.
There's one that kind of is my north star. But what would you say in terms of what has the CPA done for you?
Well, so I want to start back at with the accounting degree in and of
Mhm.
itself. So there's a lot to be said about okay, when you're in school, there's a finance discipline and there's an accounting discipline.
Right.
The fact of the matter is they're one and the same. Accounting is certainly more rules based, right? And if it's historical, certainly there's a lot of historical bookkeeping, what have you. But that doesn't mean that the accountants are looking forward. It's just that our basis of reference is stuff that's happened in the past and maybe some rules, and then how we're going to take that forward. Whereas finance, I think, is more assumption based.
Mm.
It's you're still using the data, historical data, by the way, because data doesn't exist until it's been made, right? Okay, so just want to make sure,
Right. Yeah. So
like the
there's
whole
always that.
like when people say pending future decisions, like is it the word pending already saying it's future? But anyway, but
Yeah, I
but, but
think so.
semantics. Um, but finance from their perspective is that they're using information. Whether they're doing ratios, I think ratios are ridiculous, but they love their ratios. But they're taking this information and they're saying, okay, I'm going to put some assumptions on this and see how we're going to grow this. Well, what I think is interesting there, and I'll get back to the CPA thing, is that finance truly cannot exist without accounting. It is the shoulders of the giant that it's standing up atop.
Yeah.
And you cannot reverse it. Finance cannot be the bottom of the totem pole,
Mhm.
because accounting would just squash it. Um, the accounting is really that foundation. It truly is that language of business that if you understand that, you can do all these different things.
All the
Now,
different things.
the
Yeah.
question is, like with the CPA license,
Mm.
is that can you go out and have a really bang up career with just an accounting degree? 100% you can. And the Institute of Management Accountants folks, they love the fact when I say these things. But it's also one of those things where it's like, at some point, you're gonna come to a crossroads in your career, and you're gonna say, "Gosh, I wish there was something more." And so the question is, it's like, okay, well, you can continue to be in the accounting role. In the case of the IMA, they have their CMA, right? Their
Mhm.
managerial accounting. You can be a CIA, an internal accountant.
There
There's a ton of different
there's
designations
so
that you
many,
can
it's
have.
alphabet soup. Yeah.
The one that I think that really does speak to professionalism is the
Mm,
is the crown jewel of the accounting practice, which is the CPA, the Certified Public Accountant. And why that's so important is because it's merely a designation; it's actually a license, right? It's something that we actually wear. And when you put CPA at the end of your name, even if on LinkedIn you're not allowed to anymore, but
mm,
all right. Yeah, private equity just came and say, "Take it all off." It's like, "Get out of our lives."
yes.
So that but when you have those 3 little letters at the end of your name, people automatically know, what you're about.
Mm,
And what they mostly do is they'll ask you tax questions
yeah,
because
and then you'll maybe refer them to
so
someone else.
oh my gosh, it's like I used to say I don't do taxes, and then I was like, "Well, I well, let me just hold that, right? So I'll point you to a person that does, but the thought is that if people are coming to me for tax advice, it's like, well, I may not be able to best tax advice, but I don't want to just say, well, I don't do that because technically CPAs are supposed to be able to do that. At least I passed one part of the exam that said I could do it. Um, but I think that when you start looking at the CPA exam, what does it do for and inside like I guess the job opportunities, careers, what have you? Um, it's something that sets you apart,
Mhm,
that you have taken the time to better yourself and get this professional designation to show that you are in fact, following this path. Um, what it does not mean, and I think that I wish, like, if I could put it in all caps,
mm,
like, what it does not mean is that you have to go into public accounting. That does not mean you have to be a public accountant. You do not have to do tax. You do not have to do audit. You don't have to go work for
you're
one
not
of the big
doing.
4. You don't have to. Now, would you
Yeah,
want to? Sure, they have great benefit packages. They're starting to pay really nicely. But the point is that the CPA is that thing that holds you out as saying you have reached the pinnacle of this career, and now from here on out, all you're doing is gaining more and more expertise.
right.
So that's how I think the CPA can actually
Okay.
achieve some of the goals that some people have. Is it hard?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard. But when you get there, it's a pretty cool group.
It absolutely is,
Yeah.
and you touched on it when you talked about the taxes, like, I might not be the best person, but I know somebody."
Right.
I feel like that's my answer to everything these days, right? Because as an association leader, like, my asset, my knowledge base is who I know. I am the connector of the people. I am not the expert in the room generally, actually 99.9999%, unless you're maybe talking about some Ohio State football or some other things, but
Ohio State football.
so the community is what I wanna touch on
Mhm.
next, because you said, "I know a guy," right? So I think the CPA profession has, a unique community as part of it, um, and so I know you're involved with the awesome Georgia Society of CPAs, my
Of
friend
course.
Boyd down there. I know you've worked with, the Florida Institute and Shelley, and I think you were in California as well with
Nebraska's
Denise,
coming on
so
board.
Nebraska,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
great friends, great. Tell me what it means for you to have state society connections, in
Mhm.
particular, AICPA, SEMA, does great work. They do things that as a state society I might not be able to do all the time. But that tell me about that local community and what that has meant to you, and why you think it's important.
So I think, I'm guilty of not actually attending my GSCPA chapter meetings only because I've never have time. And also they meet at a country club and the food is, it's all right. So
Okay, boy,
it's like
you heard it.
it seems like a long drive for, chicken and peas, and I love chicken and peas.
Upgrade the food
Uh,
for tenure.
okay, yeah, but, no, one of the things I love about the state societies in and of themselves is that, there is it's fun when you get around your own people,
Mm,
when the birds of a feather, they all flock together, right? And you can kind of just let your hair down because you know that everybody in the room, one, there's a certain level of respect when you're hanging out with the state societies because everybody has achieved that milestone, right? So
Right.
so you can look around the room and go, everybody in here is at least we have the same foundation, right? Now,
Right.
does that mean we all have to be again those square pegs jammed off with the corners? No, no, no. It means that now that we're here, let's bring those personalities in. Let's bring those things that we like the Harley Davidson aficionado, the guy with all the tattoos, the dude
Yeah.
with the big old mustache, right? The big old handlebar mustache. All of the the woman that likes to do skydiving. All of these different things that make us who we are individually.
Right.
It's kind of like we had to put them on hold for a little while,
Mm.
but now not only are we in the same room with all these people and they have really cool diverse backgrounds and experiences, but also guess what they also have? Disposable income to be able to enjoy all this stuff. Yeah, we worked hard at the begining, but now, you know, we've arrived. We're there.
Yeah, we're not always
Um,
the flashiest, but there is some disposable income there.
yeah, and one of the things that I think you and I have I think echoed is that so while you represent the Maryland CPAs and you have Denise out there at Cal CPAs, you have Shelly down at Florida, and you have Boyd over there in Georgia, you have all of us. Even though we have to split it up into territories, otherwise it's just too much
Well,
to
it's a
really
and it's a state-based license, right?
yeah,
Like, there's reasons, there's some things I have to do in Annapolis that,
sure
Boyd
thing.
probably could do it if he came and moved here, but, I have to do it in Annapolis, right?
Sure thing,
Yeah.
and that makes sense. But the thought is that because we're partitioned out in all these states, that we need to be territorial, and I wanted people to know that this is not a territorial thing. Certainly, we want to be
Mm-mm.
part of our local association,
Right.
just by virtue of just because when you're with other people in a professional association, you learn things. You learn you have
Absolutely.
doors opened. You have all these different opportunities, what have you, and basically just have a friendship that a lot of people in and of their worlds, like when they're in their firms, they don't want to hang out. They don't want to hang out with the people that they work with because they see them 70 hours a week. So who are you going to hang out with? Well, and you can hang out with the other CPAs that are around the town
Mhm.
because they're all looking to not hang out with the people that they work with too. So you could have your own little like wine club or supper club.
Yeah.
So but what I also think is that, being a part of the local association is a big deal. Not only also you get the continuing education that people are looking out for you, that kind of stuff, but also because the overarching brand, the AICPA, and everything everywhere where we're going, obviously NASBA with the continuing education piece, um, we're all moving in lockstep together forward.
Mm.
And what I think that people need to realize is that it's not that Florida took the lead on this, and or Ohio took the lead on this, and California took the lead on this. It's not about that. It's about who was able to, in their political climate, be able to get something through and go, "I got one for us, guys. I got to win." And then
It's
somebody
one
else goes,
team.
Illinois goes, "Okay, I got one too." And then Texas goes, "I got one too." And then all of a sudden, everybody gets to
And
rise
then I'm
up, right?
calling them up going, "How'd you get that? Tell me,
Exactly.
can you send me
Yep.
your script for that? Awesome. Okay."
Well, you
Like,
know,
we learn so much from each other.
I just saw this thing on LinkedIn about Michigan. Michigan's doing the same thing right now. They're going through that exact same process. And what I would say,
Mm.
if anybody from Michigan is going to listen to this, is talk to your fellow states, which you already have. I'm sure you have, but talk
I
to the
know
ones
Bob
who have
very well.
pushed it
Yeah,
through. Yeah,
he's great.
because that,
Yeah,
I mean, Michigan. If you got Michigan, Michigan's a gigantic state,
it is, yeah.
and so not only the universities there that
Mm.
can tout it, but also it's one right up that border, and it's just a big one. So, so the thought is that now we have 1, 5, 6. Michigan comes in. We have 7. All of a sudden, the thing starts rolling, and what ends up happening is that the accounting world is now opened for pretty much anybody who has a proclivity towards wanting to be just awesome in business, and they're like, I need to get an accounting degree, and man, if I could get that CPA, that's pretty cool
Mm.
too, right?
Right.
At any point in your career, you could do this. Any
Right,
point in your
that's
career.
true. The second career folks, I think, are gonna be part of our solution to this enrollment cliff
Yeah,
and, pipeline
yeah.
crisis that we are facing. Absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of people like to talk about the kids that are coming out of school for that pipeline, and I understand that because that's the new
Yeah,
blood, but the reality of it is there's some really good talent that's sitting around us
absolutely.
that maybe your environment where you're at, maybe if you literally just walk across the street and join another firm over there, that's where you need to be.
Mhm.
And vice versa. I mean, there might be somebody across the street that they come to your firm like, "Oh, yeah,
Right.
this is kinda this is me. This is kinda my culture. This is what I wanna do." Totally
Right.
fine. The fact is that you have options like that. There's many degrees. There's you just
Yeah.
don't have that ability to
Right.
move through an industry the way or through to any state, doesn't matter.
Right.
Um, CPAs, you can.
Mhm.
Accountants, you can. So,
Awesome.
yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna wrap up. We started with good news, and I heard all about the bananas and the expansion and all of that, which is super exciting. But what's the bottom line good news, Tim? Like, what do our members, our listeners need to hear from you that are just gonna get them jazzed and ready for their day? What's the bottom line good news for this profession?
Oh my gosh. Let me see. Bottom line good news is that I think it's you just got to go back to every decision you make costs something, and so the
Mm,
question is that what are you giving up in order to take advantage of those opportunities, and is it worth it? All you have is your time, talent, and treasure, and the question is that we all know where our time is going. It's going into our firms, into our local companies, what have you. Your talent is also there, sharing it with your time. Your treasure is the only thing that you have essentially, basically sitting out there. What you're going to do with that, right? You could know a man's heart by by looking at the checkbook, right?
yep.
Um, I think that if we just get really serious about I think if we got really serious about mentorship and understanding why we got into this career in the first place, how can we reignite that passion? And then once we feel really good about it, we can also because we have a smile on our face because we are loving our job. People around us are going to be like, "There's something different about that person."
Right.
What is it? It's like, I don't know, they're just a finance nerd. No, 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 there's something
There's
different about
something
them.
new.
And they've tapped into something. And I
Mhm.
think that's where we need to be as an industry is so people, instead of looking at finances with fear and trepidation, I have a question, I don't want to ask them because they're gonna make fun of me. They're gonna be like, hey. In fact, even around here, we had a guy calls Money Dorks. Hey, Money Dorks. I'm like, dude, that is hilarious. Bring it all day long
Yep.
because the self-deprecation that we can have to have people that can come in and actually ask a question and not feel like they're going to be made fun of or be belittled. Um,
Mm,
it's that's where I want our finance function to be, and across the spectrum. We are not better than anybody, but we sure as heck are vital to
mm.
every organizations that's out there. So let's understand our worth.
Yeah, I love that, and you mentioned that every decision you make, and so I that is the name of your book that's coming out in the spring. I heard it. I knew it. I
Mhm.
connected dots. That's one of my things. I can connect some dots. So super excited to have you in person. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to handle the passion and energy coming off because I've barely made
You'll
it
do
through
just fine.
this podcast without kind of just
Just
collapsing. But I am
flattery will
so
get you
excited to have you in
everywhere.
person in April, at our Converge conference. I know our members are gonna absolutely love it, and leave inspired and energized, to go make a difference with every decision we make and to, just be a positive, joyful influence in the organizations and the people that we get to be around, because of the knowledge that we have and, the gifts that we've been given. So, thank you, Dr.
Love it.
Tim.
You
It's
got it.
wonderful to be with you. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Yeah, go bananas.